What is going on, everybody? How are you doing today? It is a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, I guess, Tuesday lunchtime, whatever you want to call it, wherever you are. I hope you're having a good day. This is United versus Everybody. I am your host, Sean, as always, and I hope that everyone is just enjoying their week, that the weekend didn't kind of continue on to the week in terms of just your low mood or anything like that. Don't let United do that to you guys. You're stronger than that. I believe in you. But we are back today. It is the return of the Man United News Roundup. You guys know we do these semi-regularly, really just when there's news. You guys know how the channel works. I may not do a video every day, but that's just because I don't like doing the same video 3 times just to get clicks and views. You guys know I respect you guys too much for that. So today, though, we got a little bit to talk about. We're going to talk about Wayne Rooney, what he had to say this week on the Wayne Rooney show, because apparently Wayne Rooney has a show on the BBC. Amorim sat down with Owen Hargreaves this week as well, so we're going to talk about that as well. And then I want your guys' thoughts on interim managers. We're going to talk interim managers. You guys can see I could put a poll in the chat. I want to get your thoughts interim, because interims are a different breed of manager altogether, at least when you look for an interim manager. Now, there are interim managers that are full-time managers, but interims are a little different thing when you want. So it's not the same as saying, oh, I want this manager. They've got a different role to play, a little bit of limitations, and a little bit of freedom as well. So we're going to talk a lot about that. So let's dive in, you guys. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you are new, check those memberships as well if you guys want to get involved in the content we put out on the channel, such as suggestions for scouting reports, or suggestions for what if episodes, or suggestions for the return of questions from a boot. You guys know we used to do questions from a boot. I took these out yesterday because I went and kicked the ball around, but we've got questions from a boot here. So you can also get involved in that. Members, starting 11 and Legends members, can submit ideas for questions from a boot, and we'll do one right now to start things off. Let's get one out of there. Sorry, dropped it here. Make sure you guys are liking. So first question, we'll kind of leave this here. You guys can give your responses as we go along. Question from a boot. What is one law of the game that you would change if you could? What is one law of the game that you would change if you could? Any law out there, anything you want. Doesn't have to be major. Doesn't have to be, hey, let's get rid of VAR. What is one law of the game that you would change if you could? I've got my answer right away. If I could change one, it would be literally no more yellows for taking off your shirt to celebrate a goal. Like, just get rid of that one altogether. That just completely ruins it, man. We love that. When Ahmad got sent off for doing that after he scored a winner to knock Liverpool out of the FA Cup quarterfinal, I was livid. I was absolutely livid. That's just the stupidest law. It's just a stupid law. But let me know, guys, as we go along here. Get your responses in. What is one law of the game that you could change, that you would change if you could? And we'll do it. Now, we're going to bring the questions from a boot back. Obviously, it's been a minute. Probably do that on the regular, on the Kickabout show. Not this week's Kickabout, though, because this week's Kickabout is a special edition Kickabout. And it'll be Thursday at 5. Dylan and I are going to be going over the amorim replacement options. 8 options. Dylan and I are going to be going through them all. Could be a longer video. That's why we're starting just a little bit early. But it seems like it's time, right? It's time to do that. So if you want to get your thoughts in on that, if you want to share your thoughts, you want to learn a little bit, you want to go through a deep dive on 8 different manager options that I think could come into United and do a job, tune in Thursday for the Kickabout as well. So, sorry, just one of my computers having an absolute madness. All right, let's get stuck in. Sorry, my computer's just doing. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. First and foremost, you guys know I want to check and see who is getting involved in the chat. Lucky Singh in the house. Lucky Singh's already getting his options in for interims, and sounds like he even wants full-timers. Big up, Lucky. Good to see you again. Rob Taff in the house. Hope you're doing well. Got some new faces in here. Looks like we've got some non-United fans in here. That's all right. Big up, not Brett May. Good to see you. Jim D64, big up, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Face. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe for me, please. Richard back in the house. Only hit the like, Sean. Talk before the weekend. Yes, big up. Guys, if you're not able to even stick around, just give us a like. It always helps the channel, helps us get to 3K. We are on the road to 3K. We'd love to get there before the January transfer window opens up. Big up, Ian. Hope you're doing well, Ian. How are things going? How's everyone enjoying their day? Remember to get your thoughts in, your responses to that question from a boot we started with. If you could change one law of the game, what would it be? Let me know. And looks like we are caught up here. Big up, everyone. So the under-21s kicked off about 5 minutes ago, if you want to know, against Lincoln City in the round 2 of the EFL Trophy, by the way. So and it's not on MUTV because it's at Lincoln, so it is what it is. But just in case anyone's watching, obviously Champions League has kicked off about a couple hours or so, hour and a half-ish or so. So I think Madrid are up like 2-0 against some team that I've never heard of before. And then Club Brugge, you guys know we do watch, we do follow a little bit of Club Brugge because they have a lot of good players. They are playing at Atalanta. And then obviously all the other kickoffs come on at 3 o'clock. So keep us updated, anyone who's watching or keeping track of the academy players, how they're doing. So, oh, and if you're on permanent Hayden Hackney watch, Middlesbrough kickoff against Stoke in about 40 minutes or so. You guys know we're always on permanent Hayden Hackney watch on this channel because he's an excellent midfielder. I think he can absolutely come in and do a job. Ian's got one in here. He says, I think you should be able to appeal the yellow cards, where at the moment you can only appeal if it's a straight red. So you want to appeal yellows, huh? So obviously after the match, that's going to happen. That would have to happen. Here's another thing. So I might want to amend my answer. So my initial answer was get rid of the yellows for taking off a shirt to celebrate a goal. Here's my one that I was thinking about the other day when Bruno missed his pen. Now this is going to sound like I'm making excuses for Bruno. I'm not. I felt this way regardless of that pen. There is a statistical correlation between the time between when a penalty is awarded and when you actually take it. And statistically speaking, anything over a minute, the longer it takes, the less likely the penalty taker is going to make that shot. So the longer the delay, the less likely the pen will be scored. I think since penalties are meant to award and give an advantage to the team that is given the pen, when you award the penalty, I think no more VAR, no more of this. Award it, let them take it, and then after they score or whatever, then you can go look at the replay or whatever and check into VAR and stuff like that. But I think that it hurts the team who's given the pen if it's so long, which if the opposition's getting all of it, there's a 4-minute VAR review like there was the other day. I think that just hurts the chances because statistically that is the case. And so that would be something. It's not as big. If I'm going to choose between the two, it's definitely going to be get rid of the yellow for taking off a shirt to celebrate a goal, but it is what it is. Chelsea are kicking off today as well, I think. Yeah. We'll see if Mourinho can come do a job. Remember, Benfica appointed Jose Mourinho to come in. That would be hilarious, man. We know Mourinho loves that stuff. Not Brett May says, you watching Champions League? Wait, you're United. Well, obviously, I'm not watching Champions League because I am doing the stream. So it is what it is. You guys are funny. So let's talk about this. Starting off with a little bit of financial news. So apparently United are now the second most valuable club in the world, valued at $6.6 billion and having a revenue of $834 million last season. That's coming from Forbes. And apparently we are still the richest team in the Premier League. So there it is right then and there. Sir Jim can't hide about that anymore. Now, obviously, we still have debt. We've got like $1 billion in debt. We added to that this past summer by opening up that credit facility again, just to get a couple more deals over the line. We're not helping. The debt definitely does hurt. It also hurts when we can't sell players as well. And so, but still, apparently we are the most, the richest club in the Premier League and second richest club in the world, most valuable club in the world, I should say. Not the same as being rich. Don't forget that. We did make a lot of revenue last season, but being the most valuable is not the same as being the richest. So that's music to the Glazers' ears, though. You guys know that they were asking like $10 billion to sell over a couple of years ago. They're not going to get $10 billion. I really don't think that they will. But remember, the Glazers can speak to new buyers now that 18-month clause has lapsed. That was the clause that said Sir Jim had to do full ownership by 18 months, or the Glazers can start to listen to new options. That is here now. So we will see what happens. $6.6 billion, though. I don't know what that is in pounds. Someone let me know in the chat if you can do the math. I'm not going to do it off the top of my head, but we'll see what happens with that. Ian's taking off. Big up, man. Thank you for stopping by, Ian. Have a good day at work. Stay safe. Make good choices. We believe in you. Let's dive into this situation here with some transfer news. We got another person here with a rule change. What do you got for me, Jim? He says, I think the VAR should only be used if the ref asks for it. VAR should not be used to second guess the ref. Yeah. Now, VAR is interesting. I personally, I think it's hurt referees more than it's hurt the game, if that makes sense. Because all it's done is it's put a magnifying glass on referees. Really, it's like getting a math problem wrong when you're allowed to use a calculator. People like, and it's the league itself has been very like tricky with the way it's implementing it, because calling it VAR from like a psychological standpoint kind of removes the fact that there's a person involved. We just call it VAR, but VAR stands for video assistant referee. There's a person doing this, and I think that when you can have VAR and you're getting decisions wrong, inconsistent, and all this stuff that's going on, I think it just makes the English referee look poor. They just look crap. They're a laughing stock among football when it comes to the standard of refereeing. Now we talked about this going into the summer, I believe. Remember, the league was starting to train VAR, like specifically referees whose only job is to do VAR. That's what they're starting to do. It's going to take time, but that's kind of where they're trying to go, which is just insane to me. It's maybe good job opportunities for people. Hopefully, I mean, but that's an issue as well. It costs a lot of money to go through referee training and whatnot, which is probably why the pool is so small, which is why you're getting a lot of crap. If the pool was larger, you'd be able to kind of let some better quality individuals through there, and then you can work with that. But it is expensive to do that, but it's super, super annoying. Rob Taft says, seen links to Glazers are interested in Spurs and West Ham. We're always going to see some links, man, especially when things are down. Big up Lucky. Always count on Lucky to give me some running commentary and thoughts. So let's talk about transfer targets. Not a ton of transfer news, but mostly in the last few weeks, it's been youngster-related transfer news. So Wilcox and Vavell, I know no one really wants to talk about anyone at that level right now, but they've been busy when it comes to identifying and bringing in top young prospects around. Well, obviously, we've got guys like Aiden Heaven, Lusali, Enzo Kanabayek. And then you've got Sekou Kone that we brought through. We were talking, and then we've reportedly locked in that Christian Orozco kid from the Brazilian team. And reportedly, we're looking at Gilberto Moro, who plays for Tijuana's and down in the MXs, who we did a scouting report on several months ago. Keep an eye out for that kid. You'll probably see him playing in the Under-20 World Cup this week as well. So it's been reported, though, in the Edinburgh News that United are competing with other top Premier League clubs for another potential future star. And this is Hearts youngster Kier McMeekin. Sorry. He's a 15-year-old Scottish midfielder, plays for Hearts, obviously, in the Scottish Premier League. He's already trained with Hearts' first team. He's been involved with their B squad as well, even as just a 15-year-old. He's already a Scotland under-17 international as well. So the kid is looking like a little prodigy. I've seen reports that he's invited to train at Carrington in recent weeks. I've seen reports, too, that United are ready to pay a fee to bring him into the academy and get him in here. But it also sounds like Hearts are really working hard to convince him to stay in Scotland as well. I like a lot of Scottish midfielders. I really, really like Lennon Miller. I like Lewis Ferguson as well as Bologna. Lennon Miller was, to me, the one that got away when he was at Motherwell. I thought that he would have been an excellent midfielder. Hayden Hackney could have been a top pivot for us for another decade. I think he's the kind of midfielder that Fergie would absolutely love, Lennon Miller. And this kid looks like he's got it as well. So it's good to see us continually looking at the young players as well, because you never want to neglect that as well. So Jim says it's assist the ref, not overrule the ref. Yeah, I don't like that VAR it kind of seems like it's re-refereeing things. I think it should be there to, yeah, like you're saying, assist the referee and not just come in and tell them. And the problem is, too, now we're seeing some younger refs, and when you've got someone like Michael Oliver on VAR or something, no one's going to overrule Michael Oliver. It's sad that Michael Oliver is now seen as like the authority among the Premier League refereeing pool. The guy's an absolute joke. But this is where that's really good tea. This is like lemon ginger tea. I put a little Hunter in there. That's good. Rob says, is semi-automated offside technology in place now? No, I think it's going to be in place next month, which to me is an annoyance. I have a fundamental issue when it comes to new laws, or like in this case, new technology that's introduced mid-season. I don't like that at all, because it's not fair. It's not fair that there are teams up until November who will have been punished either way, maybe because of the lack of semi-automated offside or like VAR, the lack of that kind of stuff. But then we introduce it. It's why I don't love that VAR is only introduced in the later stages of domestic cup competition. If you can't do it for the whole competition, don't do it at all. I just think it's ridiculous that they do that. Same with goal line technology. If you can't utilize it in the, like, I get that some clubs, like, they're at their stadiums and they don't have the infrastructure, the funding to do for the technology. I get that, but just don't use it, because there are clubs who will suffer because if it's not there. Either just don't use it. I think if you can make a distinction between using VAR in like the domestic cup and using it in the league, I think it could really be a really good kind of testing, kind of like an experiment to see how it works. But I don't like that this is going to be implemented mid-season, because I think it's ridiculous. But we just wait till the summer and bring it in the summer, in my opinion. But that's just my thoughts. Lucky once, Hayden Heaven. We'll talk about the Sunderland match later on this week. Lucky, we got to get through today's news roundup. We are doing a special edition Kickabout Thursday afternoon at 5, where we will be talking about my picks for Ruben Amorim replacements. I've got 8. Dylan's got thoughts too. I know Dylan's got a couple favorites as well, so we're going to be doing that as well. So, and then Friday we'll do the preview for the Sunderland match, and then it's freaking international break again, because why not? Yeah, Keir McMeekin, 15-year-old Scottish midfielder, plays for Hearts, Scotland under 17 international, being scouted by a lot of clubs, including United reportedly. So keep an eye on this one. We'll see if anything comes of it. But who knows what we're saying. Adrian, big up Adrian. Good to see you again. This club is cursed. We'll never see a trophy again. Oh, we just saw one a couple of years ago. It's so, like, and I agree. Like, there's something about the club that there's something wrong here. Everybody gets infected, whether it's managers or players. They get it's really interesting. I'd love to figure out what's going on, man. It does feel like sometimes we are cursed, but we have won trophies. We've done better in our worst period than Arsenal have done in their best period under Arteta. Like, in our worst period, since Fergie, we've got what? 4 FA Cup finals, 2 FA Cups, 2 Carabao Cups. We've been to 3 Europa League finals, and we've won one of them. I think, and we've won a significant amount of trophies. I think Arteta would kill for any one of those trophies that we've won at the moment. And we finished second under all. We finished third under Ten Hag as well. I'm not saying I love it. I'm not saying no, everything's fine. I'm just saying, like, it's been up and down for sure. The downs are definitely more prevalent than the ups, but we still have some trophies. I mean, it's only been a year and a half since we've won one, so maybe this how down we are right now. We're like down in a pit and we can't see anything else. So let me get this kid off the screen. So apparently Tyrell Malacia is back training with the first team and reportedly has been reintegrated to the squad, if you guys have seen this news. So this is coming from Stephen Railston, Andy Mitten, and Nathan Salt all reporting this today when I woke up this morning. Railston even claims that this was the plan all along after Malacia didn't end up leaving. Remember, he was linked to a couple clubs in the summer. Elche, I think, was the one that was closest. Didn't end up happening. Remember, he spent better part of last season on loan at PSV, and they didn't end up taking that option. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on Malacia. I don't know how you guys' thoughts are on him being reintegrated to the first team squad. I'm not happy with it. I just don't think he's good enough. I don't really need to see him in the match day squad. And it's nothing personal like it is with Sancho or Garnacho or Rashford or anything. Like, I don't even have an issue with Anthony necessarily. Malacia was just never good enough, even prior to his long-term injury that saw him miss like a year and a half of football. There's a reason that he went on loan this summer, and the reason was because of last year. And there's a reason we basically put him up for sale and just exiled him while we waited for him to leave this summer. It's because he's not good enough. He's not part of the squad. He's just not good enough. And he's much older than a lot of people realize. Malacia, I think, is 26. He looks like he's about 22. He's 26. Literally like the same age as Diogo Dalot. I do think that an older, more experienced left back would be a smart addition to the squad if it were possible. Diego Leon's not ready. Like, I watched him recently for the under 21s. He's young. He's only 18, Diego Leon. He's not ready for first team football yet. He's physical. He gets in. If you played him as just a flat out left back and a back four, Diego Leon might do fine if we were still in like the League Cup or something. We're not in the League Cup, but Diego Leon's not ready. He probably needs to go out on loan or something. Dorgu, and I love Dorgu. I love his mentality. I love his fight. I love his hustle. I respect it. He's still just 20. He's not the finished article. And so I think that he's good enough to be in the first team. I think that if there's an opportunity to get like a 25, 26, 27-year-old left back, a la like when we got Alex Telles or something, I think that would be a smart addition. I've given some options in the past. I gave one ahead of the summer that would have been entering the final year of his contract at Sheffield United. Didn't happen. It is what it is. Let's see what's going on here. Rob Taft says Malassi is back. Things are looking up, right? I try to comment on this without disrespecting Malassi. It's not disrespect. He's just not good enough. He never was. And fair play to him. He gets about. He puts in a shift. Like you can see, he tries. He's just not good enough. He's just not. Watching him play is like if I went to a park and there were a bunch of like 6-year-olds playing and I jumped in, that like, and they would just be chasing me around. Not really. That's what he kind of looks like. And then he'll put in a foul now and then, and that's literally it. Big up, Bexy. Good to see you, man. United will get interim manager till the end of the season. I think Glasner is the best option. We'll need to bring his team. So you're saying interim manager and then Glasner in the summer? Well, get your thoughts in on Thursday's Kickabout show. We are doing my 8 options for managers. So who's to say if Glasner is on my list or not? I've got 8 though. It's going to be a longer show, but I'm looking forward to it. But big up. And then we'll talk about interims here in a little while. But get in your votes. And if you say it's someone else, like other than the 3 that I've listed there, let me know in the chat. So far, Michael Carrick is winning 15 votes. He has 60% of the votes. 20% of you then say somebody else. Let me know in the chat who your somebody else be for interim. Now, keep in mind, interim is very different than full-time permanent manager. 13% say Fletcher, and then 7% say Ollie. I think that for me, interim is going to be different, especially United, and we'll talk about that in a little while. Bexy says it's crazy. Amorim won't even move Bruno, let alone change the system. Don't sleep on Sunderland beating us on Saturday. They know Amorim will play his system. Yeah, it's all you have to do is literally just outplay us, and it's not even hard to do. It doesn't like I go on and on about how it doesn't seem like we do any sort of oppositional analysis or any sort of prep. Literally, our opponents don't have to do that for us. It's just too easy. It's really too easy. Rob likes Nico Williams. I do like Nico Williams for it. I think he's a good little fullback. I like him a lot. I like Leaf Davis. You guys know I like that. I've been scouting him for a while. Big up, Box. Good to see you again, my friend. We're just talking about the miracle man, Malacia, back in the first team squad now and how we all feel about that. But get your thoughts. And Lucky says, if can't win and draw, that hire Michael Carrick, Rude Van Nistelrooy. You want Rude back, says Lucky. Interesting. Bexy says, United need to get an interim manager. They need an EPO manager. That's my logic. Well, get your thoughts in. Because we're celebrating Malacia being back at the moment. Let's talk about Wayne Rooney here, because Wayne Rooney's got thoughts. Obviously, we all have thoughts, but Wayne Rooney had some thoughts. So apparently, like I said, he's got his own show on the BBC, the Wayne Rooney Show. He recently had some pretty scathing comments about his former club. Let's see what he had to say and let's discuss. Now, there are quite a few slides here. I'm going to go through them, and then I want to hear your thoughts. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this like this so we can see these much easier. So here's what he kind of went on a little bit of a rant. Here's what he said. He says, I just don't know what's going on. I've tried my hand at management, and it didn't work out too well, so I get it. Ruben Amorim is my age. He's still a young manager, and I'm sure he's got a massive future. But what is going on at United? This is not Man United. I don't recognize the whole football club. I don't see players fighting. I don't see character. I don't see a desire to win. I don't see ability. I don't see match winners. Nothing gets me off my feet. I absolutely agree. I don't see anyone fighting. I don't see character. I don't see desire. I don't see ability. I think the ability is there for a lot of players, but I do see a lot of players. And it's the same players that we've talked about for years who are just dropping their heads when the shit hits the fan. He said, I go to a game expecting the team to lose or maybe pick up a point. I care for the club. I was at the football club for 13 years, and what is going on is not right. And this is not all on the manager, by the way. I'm seeing players not deserving to wear the shirt, and it hurts. This is not acceptable, what's going on. There needs to be a clear message from the owners, whether that is the Glazers, Sir Jim, There has to be a message of where this club is going. At the minute, we are all sitting there waiting for it to crumble. It's like we're just waiting for it to get worse. It's like some of us will sit here and say, well, it can't get worse, can it? Oh, it absolutely can get worse. Rooney says it's not even just results on the pitch. It's everything about the club that needs fixing. So again, shifting now from the players and the coach to the club. Sir Jim, Ineos have walked into a real challenge. We're seeing staff members getting sacked after 20, 30 years who are very important people to that football club. The culture of that football club has gone. I see it on a daily basis. I see staff losing jobs, people walking out of jobs. I've got 2 kids in the academy at that football club, and I really hope this doesn't affect what they're doing. So now he's worried about it affecting just everybody. We're going all over the place. He says, what I'm seeing at that football club is not united. The soul has gone from the club. It needs a new engine, a new lease of life. It needs something to kickstart that football club. I'm not seeing anything which is giving me any confidence. There needs to be big changes, in my opinion, managers, players, whatever that is. Whatever it takes to get Manchester United back. Heavy stuff here from Waza. Let me see what you guys are saying. Let me get caught up on the chat here. Box says can't really argue with Rooney. I'm going to do this here so we can see each other. Box says can't really argue. No, I can't really argue with anything. I mean, he's not saying anything that we all haven't said, right? Well, like many times on this channel, like no character, no fight, no resilience. Something's got to get figured out. It's a lot more than just manager or players. I don't like all the changes and the redundancies and the mass layoffs that we've done either. I don't see that as a creative solution to financial problems. I think that's the easy, cheap, lazy way out. And then it's not like Ineos are trying to pocket money saved. I see why they're doing it. And I've said many times, like, there will be those kind of things that have to happen. To me, it doesn't scream, hey, we've really sat down and tried to figure this out. Like, to me, that just doesn't look like that. Lucky says personality, mentality, players not punished. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. You guys are funny. But I don't think there's anything that Rooney said that I disagree with. He's worried about maybe things getting worse. He's worried that the rot is just spreading. It's like a cancer. The Glazers, I think people really underestimate just how much of a cancer the Glazers have been to this club. Now remember, the Glazers that are in charge now, the siblings, they took over from their father, Malcolm Glazer, way back when, right, 20 some odd years ago. But again, that to me is worse because they didn't do anything to deserve the club. They didn't work for it. They didn't fight for it. They didn't put any of their own work. They just inherited it. They have no skin in the game whatsoever. They have no reason to make any sacrifices or get involved. Sir Jim said when he got here, remember he gave that interview and said it's been negligent what's been allowed to happen at this club, and some of the decisions have been like, he basically called them out as for their negligence. And it's been nice to see the new owner, or I guess minority stake owner, say that, but it doesn't really change anything because we're still here nearly 2 years later. So Rooney, again, going into this, he said, I didn't really know if he should speak up, right? He didn't want the media to basically take what he was saying and run with it. He didn't want Amorim to have to deal with questions about this, which he's probably going to have to deal with ahead of that Sunderland match and that pre-match press conference. We know that that's just part and parcel. When you're a manager at United, you do have to deal with these kind of things. And I know Amorim does not like it. I know he doesn't like how many interviews he's had to do. He's not a fan. I know some people say he likes it. He doesn't like it. I would hate it. He definitely does. He's basically said, like, at some points, like, I'm not a fan. But I mean, and I get what Rooney's saying, like he's worried about the media taking this and putting more pressure. I get it. But honestly, like, the players in Amorim, they need to hear it. Ineos need to hear it. The Glazers need to hear it. We spoke the other day about Christian Eriksen saying, that criticism from ex-United players and how it negatively impacts the squad. I don't care. Good. I hope these bluffers in the squad hear it. I hope Amorim gets whatever it takes for him to just snap out of it and get a reality check. If you need to go upside his head with some harsh truth, sometimes it's the only way people learn, is to have to hit this point. Like, I don't understand like what it would take for Amorim to realize, all right, it's not working clearly it's not working. It's been a year almost of this. It's not working. Like, I have to change something. I'm not saying go back to a 4-2-3-1. I'm not saying this, but he's got to figure it out. Amorim needs to hear it. A major part of what Rooney was saying too was directed at Ineos and the Glazers. Like I said, they need to hear it. I think it all needed to be said. It's nothing new. It's nothing we didn't already know. It's nothing, someone like Gary Neville or even Ronaldo hasn't said either. We all know it, but I think just it's good to have a constant reminder so it's not forgotten. Ineos are taking a lot of the flack. They're catching strays that are all really should be directed at the Glazers. The Glazers just get away with it. Ineos are now their shield. I'm not saying Ineos are innocent in all this. I'm not saying they haven't made mistakes. They've made a lot of big, high-profile mistakes that, quite frankly, are going to be near impossible to come back from in terms of public opinion and like the mass layoffs and stuff. That's going to be hard to come back from. That's a big hill to climb. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, you guys let me know what you think about what Rooney had to say. I do think that while all this was necessary and true, I don't think Rooney's going to be invited to the next Legends match at Old Trafford, though. Probably didn't make him look good. Bach says, I think Rooney hits the nail on the head. We all see problems, but if we're honest, we don't know how to fix it. It's not my job or your job, Box, to figure out solutions. It really isn't. That's why we've got supposedly best in class. That's why these people in charge in these positions they're in make a lot of money. They have to come up with better ways than just, well, we tried, let's just fire another 200 people. That'll fix it. Like, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's like me, like, almost like not taking care of like my cast iron skillet and then like not willing to put in the work to clean it properly, to re-season it. And I'm like, I'll just throw it out. I'll just get another one. It's fine. Like, that's not it's not working. That's the opposite of a job. That's the opposite of a job. I'm not happy about that. But it's not my job. It's not your job to figure it out. That's what Ineos brought these team of people in to do. And Amorim, he and his coaches need to figure it out. The players, they need to figure it out. It's not on us. The fans' only job is to support the team. All right? Support the team. Yes, we can give criticism. Yes, we can like tell these players that that's not good enough. Amorim, we can do that, but we have to still do it from a place of love for the club and support for the coaching staff and the players as well. You can not agree with something like your spouse does. Like, you can really have a hard time with it, but still at the end of the day, you still love them and you support them, right? And so we have to figure out a way to toe that line. Bexy says, there are honestly lots of positives, though, people sleep on. The youth team look elite. A couple of world-class midfielders like Wharton, a competent manager. United will be back. Yeah. I just started a little FC 26 career. Apparently, also, by the way, I didn't realize this. Picked up my copy. Apparently, you get a scarf now when you play, when you buy FC 26. So I picked this up the other day when I picked up the game at GameStop. Apparently, you get a scarf now. So don't know what to do with that. But yeah, started my manager career mode. I don't know if anyone's played it yet. I ended up making Xavi, switching to a 4-3-3. Ended up getting Angelo Stiller in January because Stuttgart were down in like 13th in January when around December when I was doing. So I was like, I sent Ugarte the other way because he wasn't doing it. Pulled in Stiller. Bruno will be sold in the summer, and then I will bring in Adam Wharton. So it will be a Adam Wharton, Kobe Mainu, Angelo Stiller midfield three in my career mode. And then I'm probably going to bring in a young center back and replace Diogo Dalot at right back in the summer as well. So fun little thing. If anyone's playing it, let me know what your signings look like so far. Rob Taft says, Glazers are truly incompetent. Who in their right mind hands control to the minority? Well, I think did they really have control, though, if we're being honest? Were they really doing anything? What was there really that they were doing that they had to hand over? They were completely negligent. They delegated all that stuff to Ed Woodward, Arnold, Murtaugh. They didn't do anything at all. And so it didn't really take much for someone to come in and just decide, hey, we're doing this. Now, Ineos, that was part of it. You remember, Ineos were given full control over the footballing decisions because nobody else was doing anything. Now, we brought in Omar Barada. That was a good appointment. Jason Wilcox wasn't even supposed to be director of football. Remember, Jason Wilcox was named director of football not that long ago. And so we didn't really have one for a while. He and Vavell were kind of doing the like tag team in that. And so their job wasn't that. Now Wilcox is doing that. We still got Pavel. We've got a lot of really good people in charge. They just need to start making some better decisions. Sir Jim needs to stay out of it. Like, he just doesn't need to be involved. But Bexy says Ineos are great in my opinion. Look at the revenue update. They have to work with the Glazers as well. Yeah, I'm not like a lot of people where I was like Ineos out and stuff. But again, it's like the players and stuff. We can call them out for some of the decisions they make. Now, again, I've said many times on this channel, Sir Jim Ineos, they inherited an absolute shit show. There's a lot that they've got to deal with and untangle, and it's hard to know where to start. But they have made some bad decisions. I will say that. So we'll see what happens in that regard. Box said, did I buy Baleba? I did not buy Baleba. I didn't even scout Baleba. I knew going into this when I was switching to a 4-3-3, I was going to need a holding midfielder and a number 8 who are good on the ball. So again, Stiller and Wharton are going to be my 3. Covey is going to be on their right-hand side. I'm looking heavily to the academy. I've got all 3 academy scouts out at 3-month stints because Xavi really pushed hard on Barcelona's academy. He brought through a lot of young academy players, basically saved that club when they were in financial straits by rebuilding that midfield and everything. So that's also what I'm leaning heavily on with Xavi. And I remember you guys, like I said, you guys know when I do career mode and I choose a certain manager, I go full in on that manager's everything, like kind of players they sign, the formation. Do they do academy? Do they not? That's what we go in at. Now, Xavi has expensive tastes, but he doesn't look for like the Mbappes or the Neymars. He looks for the other guys. Like he wanted Cavaradonna, for instance, Zubamendi, for instance. So Bexy says, I was surprised to see how comfortable Wharton was in the air. I don't think I've seen an Ugarte yet here ever. Yeah, Wharton is definitely one of my picks for the summer. We need 2 midfielders, and Wharton's got to be one of them. He just has to. He absolutely has to. He's about the closest thing I've seen to Michael Carrick since Michael Carrick was in his prime. Honestly, he's that good. It's just if he can stay fit, right? So, yeah. Any more final thoughts on Wayne Rooney? You guys let me know. So now we're going to move on to the nitty-gritty. Let's see. Never seen Bruno head the ball. I've seen Bruno head the ball before. Hold on a sec. Has Bruno scored a header? I feel like I've seen him score from a header. Maybe I'm mistaken now. Yes, he has scored. He scored against Real Betis in the Europa League, according to Google, and against Leicester City. So, yeah, he has scored a header. But I thought I remembered he could. So, let's get Rooney off the photos here. You guys let me know what you think about that. Cool. Speaking of Amorim, though, before we move on to interims, he did also sit down with Owen Hargreaves recently. You know, a lot was talked about. Not a whole lot that was really of any substance. This is another reason why I'm like, why did we have to do these interviews? Because it's all like a lot of the same shit. Same with press conferences. I don't even bother waiting for press conferences. And the only thing I learned from press conferences is like who's available and who's not. Like Ahmad Mizraoui not being available for Brentford. That was about the only thing that I took from that press conference. But Amorim did make a point, though, to talk about some of his approaches to management and things. Because Hargreaves asked him, how did you know you wanted to get into management? When did you decide on this kind of system? He made it a point, basically, Amorim, to say, even as a child and as a young player, young manager, he likes solving problems. He likes puzzles. He likes more tactical games. He said, I like the tactical games, not like the fun games. He likes to figure out ways to solve problems, finding solutions, which was interesting because I don't see him doing that at United. Talking about his tactical approach, he actually said when he began his as a manager, his favorite thing was a 4-4-2, something that Oliver Glasner said as well. That's Oliver Glasner's favorite formation is 4-4-2, but Oliver Glasner likes to change things up depending on the players he has, basically. But Amorim started as a 4-4-2. He ended up changing, though, later on, as not because of necessarily like he was just like 3-4-2-1 is the best. He changed based on what he saw football doing, what other teams were starting to do, especially in attack. Now, he said that his kind of a back 5 situation, he started to implement that to basically adjust to the trend of clubs basically pushing their fullbacks really high up the pitch, getting them involved in the attack, creating overloads, which basically made a front 5. And he said he liked to be able to match that with kind of a three at the back that could become a five at the back if those opposition fullbacks push wide, which they do a lot in the Premier League. And so I see the reasoning behind that. I just don't know if I would make my whole tactical approach and philosophy based on that alone, personally. That to me it seems like you're playing the opposition's game instead of playing your own game. But he also sort of implied that in terms of just current situation, system things, that he kind of feels like that when the current United squad, he feels like when they kind of start to understand this kind of current system, this current philosophy, whatever you want to say, when he feels like they've got that down, or at least to a good place, he said, yes, then we'll progress. Then we will evolve to the next system, the next stage in this process, whatever it is, which I don't really understand where he's coming from there. So there's steps to understanding his system, and we're still in the first step. And when he feels like they've got it, they'll move. Like, I don't get it. This is like progressing to different levels in Scientology or something. I don't understand what he's talking about. Like, it can't be that complicated, like, for a bunch of internationals, Champions League winners to get. Like, I don't understand why you feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. Honestly, management is not difficult, and honestly, they don't have that much. I know people are going in on Amorim, like, why is he leaving in training? Like, why is he away from? Most managers don't take part in training. It's not that common that they do. Fergie used to sit up and just watch it from his office. All he didn't take part. It's the coaching staff that generally leads the training, and Amorim might step in here and there. Any coach might step in here and there. It's not very common, and so I don't get that. But I just don't understand what this whole issue is with the system. Like, it's not difficult to play players in their best position. It's not difficult to make some tweaks to get the best out of your squad. At that point, it's really mostly on the players if you do all that and they're still not delivering. And so I just think he's making things so much more difficult than they need to be, personally. Let's see what we got here. Get caught up here. Bexy says Ugarte has been a huge disappointment. It's like he doesn't want to be an elite player, has the confidence compared to Euro, for example. Yeah, Ugarte I don't think he's bad. He's just, in my opinion anyway, he's not well-rounded enough. He doesn't have enough strings to his bow. He's not very composed on the ball. He's not really good on the ball. He has mentality. He gets about. He'll let you know he's there. I love that attitude about him. But Licha does that. But Licha is also good on the ball. He's a leader as well. Like, he's press resistant. Like, there are things that Ugarte needs to add to his game if he ever wants to get to that, like, level. And he just doesn't have it. And he's running out of time. He's was he 24 now? He'll be 25 in another year or so. Like, he's got to progress otherwise. So I don't know what Ten Hag saw when he looked at him. I don't know if that was an Ineos appointment or what. I know a lot of people are lamenting the fact that we sold McTominay and got Ugarte. We definitely overpaid for Ugarte, in my opinion. It was odd to bring in the player and then bring the manager that sold that player from Sporting to PSG a couple years back. And so you can't make this shit up at United, man. It's the peak, like, drama, in my opinion. So I gotta get tea. Allergies are bad today, so it's killing me. Rob says, I think that interview was done last week. I remember seeing footage of Hargreaves at Carrington. He had a tour with Heaton. Yeah, he was doing the tour, and that was just released not that long ago. So, but it's interesting stuff. Bexy says, didn't Potter win more than Amorim? Absolutely shocking. Well, I know there's all these people that are going in on Potter having a better win percentage. That's a little bit skewed because the sample size is just low. Like, that's like saying, like, Manuel Neuer's got 100% save accuracy compared to, like, David De Gea. Well, Manuel Neuer at one point might have only had to make one save because Bayern only conceded one shot. De Gea has to have a lot. So if you're only facing 10 shots or you're facing 30, yeah, your percentage is going to look better. If you're only managing for a few games, it's going to look better. But, it is what it is. But yeah, Potter, I feel a little bad for Potter. I think it's just that Chelsea thing, man. That Chelsea job might have been. It's another example of how PL proven doesn't necessarily mean everything, whether it's a player or manager, because the step up can still be too big, no matter how well you do it. We've seen that with David Moyes, for instance. Like, huge step up, took him completely by surprise. Was not ready for it from the get go. And I think that says a lot. I think that this is why some people are hesitant with Guys like Glasner or Iriola, I've seen Hertzler mentioned as well. I think that does kind of make people wonder if that's the step up is too big. We'll talk more about that on Thursday, though, when we go through the options for manager. Let's see here. Rob says, I don't have an issue with Amorim's system, but he hasn't got the right player profiles yet, so he needs to adapt. Yeah, I agree. He doesn't have to fully change. He just make a couple changes, man. It's not that difficult. It really isn't. And formation is not system either. So again, the formation is not the issue necessarily. It's just the roles of these players, the jobs, the rest defense is garbage. By the way, like the way we're set up when we're kind of progressing the ball is bad. Like three slowest defenders against basically long ball from Brentford was just the worst idea imaginable. So Bexy says, I think honestly, Amorim has lost it. I think Grimsby was the last nail in the coffin. He walks around in circles on the touchline, looks nervous as hell. He definitely looks stressed. He looks more frustrated than anything because it looks like he knows, and he says it, and he's kind of said it in Hargreaves, like he knows, like he can picture this is how the thing is going to go. Like everyone's got a plan, right, until you get hit. Isn't that what Mike Tyson used to say? Like it's good to think, okay, this is how football is going to be played, this is how we're going to do things, this is how it's going to go, but it doesn't translate. Well, you're relying on your players to do things, and if they can't do it, or if you don't have the players for it. I said this about Ten Hag when it came from building out from the back. You want to build out from the back. You can't do that with guys like Lindelof and Maguire. We saw them get caught on the ball so many times. Fred caught on the ball so many times in dangerous areas in our own half. Can't do that. But there are ways to not do that without completely abandoning your principles as the media is going to go with it. So I just think that Amorim, there are not that many things. We've talked about it many times before. Just up the tempo a little bit. Put Bruno in a better position. If it means that some players aren't going to play every week, that's fine. Deal with it. But I don't even think we have any of the midfielders we have at this club. I don't think any of them are suited to this system personally. I don't think they're suited to a two-man midfield. Not only do they not all possess both the off the ball and on the ball qualities, some of them got some of each. Not all of them have both. But I think that in this current Premier League climate, two-man midfield we're getting outnumbered over and over and over again. It's just not working. It really isn't, man. 3-5-2, just go to another body in there, and then that'll shore us up a little bit, man. But let's see. Bexy says Xerxes is mediocre. Well, I don't think Xerxes is world class. I really don't know what the plan was with Xerxes personally. I don't get it because I don't see how he fit in Ten Hag's system at all. In this system, I could definitely see him playing as a 10 or like a false 9 at some point. I don't think he's not a striker. He's a 9.5. As you can see, if you go to the United vs. Everybody online store, you can get yourself a 9.5 shirt or sweater or hoodie or whatever you want to call it. Go check it out. FYI, shameless plug. Don't even care. But is Xerxes world class? No, I doubt Xerxes is going to be here more than another year or so personally. And that's not me saying he's bad. He's not enough in my opinion, but it's not my call, is it? Rob says it's mad how Potter has fallen. Yeah, if there's anybody who abandoned principles, man, when he rocked up at Chelsea in the all black looking like a gangster, none of it looked like it fit, man. And I think that he tried to change to suit Chelsea rather than kind of trying to bring what he was to Chelsea, if that makes sense. So Box says, facts, they're three-man midfield players. Yeah, Bruno as an 8 in a 4-3-3 would be amazing. Kobe as an 8, amazing. They would be perfect. Bruno, obviously, his best position is 10, but I think because he plays an 8 for Portugal, and he does just fine. So with a little bit of freedom, so like Lucky says, Sean, what does Enzo Maresca do at Chelsea? I mean, lose to United. That's what he does. I can tell you that much, but I don't watch a ton of Chelsea personally, Lucky. You let me know what you think Enzo Maresca is doing. Bexy says, but playing Bruno as CDM is such an elephant in the room. Literally, the army wouldn't use the same tactics. I can see why he does it, simply because Bruno is the only playmaker we have. And so what he needs from that midfielder, Bruno is the only one who can do it. But he's not defensive enough. Like, he puts in some tackles, but he's not press resistant either. And because he's so used to being this free roaming 10, you're not going to remove that instinct out of him overnight. You're not going to do it in 6 months. And so Bruno, and he's got this leadership, he's got this like, I need to be the one to make to impact this game. He's going to go find that ball. He's going to get on the ball. He's going to want to do something with it. The problem was that overzealous nature that Bruno possesses sees him vacate his position a lot. I feel bad for Ugarte. He's got to do basically the job of both midfielders on his own because Bruno is trying so hard to pull us back into the game to make something happen because he's the only one who can do it. Bruno is not a bad player. He's a good player being wasted right now because he's being played out of position in a role that completely nullifies everything that we get from him on a normal basis. And that's on Amorim. That is on Amorim for sure. I don't like when people go in on Bruno right now because it's not his fault. It's not. Yes, positionally, yeah, that's on Bruno, but like it's like if he's got to sit in this little 15-yard pocket of space and trust that someone else in another area of the pitch is going to be able to do something that only he can do, I would be frustrated too. I'd be frustrated if I got to sit here on the left-hand side as a 6 and watch Ugarte because try to get on the ball. Watch someone like Dallo try to do something that I know that if I just run 20 yards and get the ball from him, I can do 100 times better. I would be frustrated. I would feel like I was on a leash at that point. So I get the frustration. I get why Bruno tries so hard. I get it. He is kind of pigeonholed a little bit because he's the only one who can do things, and he does. In that regard, he is the one who's going to have to make those sacrifices at times, maybe be played out of position. We've seen him played out of position many, many times. Remember when Ten Hag threw him on the right wing sometimes? Like, I get it, but he's got to. Amorim's got to do better. He just does. We could play a 3-5-2, throw Cunha and Mbeumo up front, put Bruno and Kobbie Mainoo in the 8s, and sit Casemiro or Ugarte behind them and let them just sweep up. Casemiro's got a really good long ball on him. He can pick a pass too. It's not that difficult. But what you gonna do? Yeah, Bexy, I've said that a couple times too, is put Mount in midfield. I think that he's just got a little bit more of the physicality about him as well. But it's always that caveat is of whether Mount can stay fit or not, unfortunately. So, fifth, Chow Few, big up. Good to see you again. Maguire, Dallo, Bruno, and Shaw. These 4 players are mentally too weak. They aren't United players. I think that Bruno, I would never ever call Bruno mentally weak. I don't think that he's weak. I think Bruno's got a lot of passion. He is a leader. I just don't think he suits what a lot of people think a leader should be. And I think that the passion when is not always directed in the best way. He does unnecessarily go in on his teammates sometimes. I said it the other day after the Brentford result, like he went in on somebody after he misplaced the ball. I get it. Not saying that he doesn't ever do that. I call it out when I see it, but I think that Bruno does have mentality, but I think that it's just not enough right now. Big up, Kai. Good to see you again. Plus, Bruno is the best chance creator in the Premier League. He's our best player. He's been our top scorer almost every year he's been here. Like, he's literally the one dragging this team. We'd probably already be relegated if not for Bruno personally. Rob says, Ugarte having to cover Bruno when he wanders off, it's hard to do. It reminded me of Mainoo last season paired with Casemiro. Yeah, it is hard. And that's a big problem. We don't have physicality. We haven't had physicality in this squad until recently because we bought a lot of very techie players who are good on the ball. And those players also just don't happen to be quick or physical, or they don't have the resilience or the intensity. Now we're starting to see Ineos kind of target those kind of players who are good on the ball, but also like Cunha and Mbeumo. These guys, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Yoro. Box is not sure why people single out certain players for not having the right mentality. Seems like narrative driven or regurgitate mainstream news like sheep. Yeah, I've done it. I've singled out players for not having mentality. I don't blame that for results necessarily. Like if Maguire is back foot defending a cross into the box instead of front foot defending, I'm not like that's why we lost. I'm just pointing it out as another example of Maguire being a little bit more passive than he really should be, especially for someone who used to wear the armband. That's why he doesn't have the armband, is because he doesn't do that. And when he did have the armband, he tried too hard and he put himself in situations unnecessarily to try to kind of justify wearing the armband. And he gets caught on the ball sometimes too. So Bexy's going to try Dallo as CDM. I'm going to try Dallo at left bench or left out if you want to go that. Dallo needs to go. He's just not good. He just needs to go. I would replace him with a proper right back in the summer. Now, Mazraoui's still here. go get someone young. I did another scouting report special last week, went through a player that I thought was really good, plays at Union. Go check that out. Obviously, Vanderson at Monaco is still out there as well. Alawadi at Genk still out there as well. There's a lot of good players out there. There's one at Porto that I really like as well, so keep an eye out for that one. Big up, Sanjay. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Rob Test, does there need to be three in midfield in the combinations with Mount, Mainu, Casemiro? Yeah, 3-5-2. 3-5-2, and then you just kind of rotate your strikers and your attackers a little bit. And they're all not going to play 90 minutes every week. It's just the way it's going to be, and they're going to have to deal with it. They just are. This is the way it's going to be. Sanjay says, I feel like that Bruno has to play because of orders. Well, Bruno is the captain. He's literally our best player. I just don't like where he's being played right now. I just don't. It just is what it is. So Rob says Dalot trains hard, but the quality. Dalot is not good from a defensive standpoint when he's got to stand up and go 1v1 against attackers. He doesn't close down the ball. And his final ball is garbage. His final ball is absolute garbage. Garbage. Like with a capital G, man. Bog says, Mainu asking to move after 2 games can be suggested as very weak mentality. Yeah, and I said that at the time. If those rumors were true, that he was already throwing his toys out of the tram because he didn't play. And again, I think a lot of that was media heavy. The media were running hard with that after 2 games. But if he asks to leave after that, then that's a problem, and Mainu needs to go then, because if he can't take that as a sign of, hey, you have work to do, or B, like, you're still young, you're not a first-team starter. Like, Mainu's missed 38 games from injury since he started in the first team. And that's after, remember, he was out for almost one half of that first season with that injury he got in preseason. He didn't come in until November. And since that November under Ten Hag, he has missed 38 games due to injury. And he's not even been doing this 2 years yet. That's a problem. And he's still, 20 years old? He, as a 20-year-old from Mainu, even with limited experience, he's not there yet. And the injuries are a concern. So let's not pretend like Mainu's been balling out for 2.5 years since he broke into the first team, because he's missed the equivalent of an entire Premier League season due to injury. Bach says, Ahmad Bar, Purple Patch, United fans called him Ivorian Messi. Yeah, Ahmad needs to step up. He's, 23, 24 now. We need to see. I mean, obviously, he's, again, another player being played out of position if you want to get technical, because he's not a right back or right wing back. He is a 10/right winger because he played a floating 10 at Sunderland. He is a right winger. Again, a lot of this system is very player specific, and we didn't have the players for it to begin with, this is a big reason why Liverpool opted to not appoint Ruben Amorim, is because they were already 10 years into their thing. They had a good thing going, a good system. It was a well-oiled machine. To bring in Amorim would have seen them had to completely start all over again, and I didn't think they wanted to do that. They just got Van Dijk and Salah on new contracts. They lost a player that probably would have been very good in that system, in Trent. If he would have played a wingback, he probably would have been good, but it is what it is. And they didn't want to do that. And so that's why they brought in Arne Slot. West Ham met with Amorim. They don't have the money it would have taken to completely rebuild that squad. They just don't. And so United, Ineos, new owners, ready to start clean, fresh, clean slate, whole new identity, whole new rebuild. It made more sense. Problem is, it's just not working. And it has nothing to do with the system and everything to do with Amorim probably being a little bit in over his head, if we want to think about it. He's a very, very young manager in terms of managerial experience. He's got half a dozen years of managerial experience. Just turned 40. He's literally my age. And then he's just refusing to see the writing on the wall, see the mistakes, learn from the mistakes, make the necessary changes. You can't just keep hoping every single week, well, it'll click this week, it'll click this week. It's just not happening. You've got to guide it along. Like, you have to. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like just letting your kid learn how to ride a bike for the first time. You're like, there you go. No, you got to hold them a little bit, help them adjust a little bit. This is part of it. Manage is also a verb. I've said it many times. Box says, Mbumo Cunha just arrived, but PL proven should be experienced in leading. Mbumo just looks like, and he's got to do more for me. So far, the best thing, aside from that goal against, Burnley, the only thing I've seen him do is win a couple fouls, and one of them was a pen. Oh, it's cold now. Boo. Bexley says, I think United just need to be honest with Amorim. get the pressure off his shoulders. He can leave in November. I worry that that's a thing that we're doing, is that we're waiting until November when the financial hit for sacking him won't be as big as the 12 million that was reported a couple weeks ago. That to me is just, that's not a good sign personally. But he honestly, I think he could walk at some point too, but I think that would be down frustration with the players personally. Let me see here. Bexy will you know what? We'll talk about it in the Brentford preview, man. I've given up trying to like predict, trying to hope, because it doesn't matter at this point. It really doesn't. Not because I'm like, he's gone. It's because he's not going to do anything different. He's not going to change. Like, there's no point. If Lammin starts on Saturday, I'll have a heart attack. I will literally die, because that would, to me, show maybe something is he's learning a little bit. Let's see. Beck says Cooney was awful. Cooney is another one like Bruno. He's trying too hard. He was trying too hard. He's kind of floating out of his position. I said it in the match reaction. He and Shesko were basically taking up the same positions when we get the ball into advanced positions. Get to Mbeumo, and you look over, and Cunha and Shesko will be literally 5 yards from each other, making the same exact run, when Cunha really should be drifting off to that back post, or letting Shesko kind of go up, and Cunha can drop in a little deeper. He wants to get involved again. It's hard to I think that's probably the hardest thing in football, is to want to get involved, to want to help, but then also have to recognize your role in the situation and not look at it as a leash, but look at it as like, this is the responsibility. Unfortunately. So Rob says Binder is a worse save percentage so far. Binder is worse than Onana. Like, he just is. He just is. See, and it's like, this so sad that those were our two options for 2 years, was Binder and Onana. Like, this garbage. That's garbage. It's absolute garbage, dude. Chavu says Bruno should never play for United again after he threw Euro under the bus. I don't think anyone's throwing anybody on the bus. I remember that interview, we spoke about it. I don't think it's throwing anybody on the bus. I think people are running with that a little bit. But everyone's going to have a different perspective on that stuff. So it is what it is. Let's talk about managers. Since we just talked about Amorim, let's talk about interim options, you guys. Make sure you're liking that, hitting that like button. Make sure you subscribe, you guys, if you're new. What are you guys seeing here in the poll? 55% of you out of 20 votes say Michael Carrick as interim. 30% of you say someone else. If you're going with someone else, let me know who that someone else is being. Remember, this is interim. This isn't permanent. This is interim. That's what that poll is. Interim is very different. Fabrizio Romano reported yesterday that Ineos, they respect Amorim, they back him, but they want to see immediate results following this match, starting with the Sunderland match. The question is Amorim going to deliver? Have we seen anything to suggest that he can get something out? He would have to make some big changes going into Sunderland for me to be like, okay, let's see how it goes. But if he goes with the 3-4-2-1, if he puts Bruno in the pivot, if Mainu's on the bench, if Binder starts, then he has to go, because it's just, nothing's going to change. Literally nothing's changing. If he's sacked, though, let's say we get blown out like we did against Brentford, and like, it's not just result, it's performance. Performance against Brentford was god-awful. Let's say he gets sacked over the international break. Do you think we could get our top managerial target now, or will we have to wait till the summer? If we paid to get Amorim mid-season last season, would we do it again? Now, Thursday, remember, is going to be the special edition Kickabout, the Amorim replacement. So we're going to do a deep dive, and we're going to do closer looks on those 8 managers. So be sure to come back and get involved with that. But today, what about interims? If we appointed an interim, if we appointed a caretaker manager between now and the end of the season, who would you want it to be? Again, put that poll out. I put a poll out yesterday. Most people said Carrick. Kai says Rude. Would Rude come back, do you think? He hasn't done anything since he got sacked by Leicester, and he was not good at Leicester, let's be quite frank. We got a tune out of the United players. I like the way he manages. He gets a lot of numbers forward. He gets a lot of attackers in the box. He does well with a lot of young attackers. He could do something, but would he want to come back? The thing with interims is it is a good opportunity for these individuals to kind of put themselves in the shop window. Basically, it's a CV for them. Rude got that Leicester job based on what he did at United in those matches. He got some good results. Carrick got that Middlesbrough job based on the back of working under Ollie and what he did as caretaker. Remember, McKenna went and got that Ipswich job. It is an opportunity for these guys to put themselves in the shop window a little bit. Would Ollie have gotten the Besiktas job had he not gone on that really amazing run with United? Second place, Europa League final, amazing unbeaten streak. Like, again, it is what it is. I've seen Fletcher mentioned. That's why I put him in the poll. I personally don't want Fletcher to leave the under-18s. I think he's doing an amazing job there. They're doing really, really well. Up until recently, they were unbeaten. They hadn't even conceded a goal until recently. I don't think that the under-18s should have to suffer or settle for a temporary replacement simply because the first team is shit. I think that let them do their thing and go from there. Could Ollie come back and take us on another winning run? Could Ruud come back? What are you guys saying here? Yes, Rob, thank you. Please hit those like button, guys. Please subscribe to the channel, as always. What are your thoughts here? Rob says, what we got here? Lucky says he wants full-time Ruud. So you want Ruud back full-time altogether, or Michael Carrick? I don't know if Carrick's quite ready yet. He's still a pretty young manager. Ruud is even younger in terms of managerial experience. He managed PSV for one season. He worked with the Netherlands team for a while. He did PSV's academy for a season. Obviously, he was United for a little bit. Ruud's pretty inexperienced. He needs to go get some more experience. Ruud needs to go to like a Stuttgart or something. Let's say if Hoeneß gets a new job or something. He needs to go to some mid-table Bundesliga club or something, and I think that they can do well there. Who knows? Maybe he could go to West Ham. He could probably get a tune out of West Ham, but Nuno's there now, so it doesn't really matter. But what do you say? Rob says Ruud was poor at Leicester. His United wins were against fodder teams. And we did get a draw against Chelsea. We scraped by in that Leicester, that cup match, which we probably should not have won because Maguire was technically offside, but I'm not going to complain about it. But it goes back to my gripe about VAR not being used in some matches. So Rob says Gareth Southgate was fantastic at England 1-0. Yes, Southgate is literally the international version of Arteta, man. It's just, what has he done? Like, literally, what has he done? But keep getting your thoughts in. I got some more thoughts. I'm gonna check the Academy's losing 1-0 to Lincoln. Madrid just destroyed Kairat Almaty. I have no idea who that is. Mbappe hat trick. Atletico already up 1-0 against Frankfurt, and then Marseille beating Ajax currently 1-0. Liverpool playing Galatasaray, Chelsea are playing Benfica. Tottenham are playing Bodo Glimt. You know, Jarvis is watching that one. I've got a Bodo Glimt player that I'll probably feature in my January deal scouting report video that'll be coming out in December, so keep an eye out for that one. Yeah, Southgate. No, not even as interim would I want Southgate. I really don't, because this is my worry with Southgate, is that if he does semi-decent, which I don't think he will, if he does semi-decent, my worry is that Ineos will appoint him permanently, and that just can't happen. It cannot happen. Like, it just can't. I can't deal with that. I don't rate Southgate. He's a cowardly manager. Although it will be fun to get a United waistcoat made, customized, and just rock that to matches. That would be kind of fun. JSN, welcome to the channel. Says we never give things time for it materialize for what it could possibly be in the future. We're always in panic mode when something doesn't work out. It's a rinse repeat cycle all over again. Yeah, for a lot of fans, it does feel that way, doesn't it? And I hear what you're saying. It's difficult. There's two sides, right? And I don't think it's as simple. It's the, like you're saying, we panic, but there's also like the, when like there's a sunk cost fallacy. We talked about this the other day, the sunk cost fallacy. We put Ineos, I worry if Ineos are in that, where they've already put too much energy, too much time and money into Amorim, that they can't justify making that change, even though when the evidence to do so is overwhelming. There's nothing wrong with saying you got it wrong. Just like there's nothing wrong with Amorim admitting that he maybe needs to adapt. Pep had to adapt when he came in the Premier League. He talked a lot about second balls, for instance, was like something that caught him completely off guard, and he started making changes. Pep is a good manager. I don't think he's as good as a lot of people say. He's definitely not the best in the world. That's Ferguson, but you have to make changes. If Pep at this pomp at that time was willing to make adaptations and changes and completely kind of learn, and like Amorim has to learn how to do that. He's too young to just think that he's just got it down. He's too young to be thinking like, no, my systems work. Like, you have to kind of make change. Pep has had different systems at City every year he's been there, and he's got new players to help suit it. They went on the tiki-taka. Now they're going to quick counterattack, quick transitions kind of thing. Their whole tactic a couple years ago was just win cynical fouls and just pick up yellows all over the place. And that was his tactic. Like, you've got to be able to show that you can adapt when it's not going your way. And Amorim that's my biggest gripe, is he's not doing that. He's not getting the most out of his players because he's not playing them in their best positions, and he's not learning from his mistakes. And you can't go into this thinking that you don't have to learn, you don't have to make changes, that you've got it down. It's just not going to work. But I appreciate that, JSN. Welcome to the channel, man. Bexy says, when's the pre-match presser? Probably Friday. I don't typically bother with them anymore. They're very boring. They're very vanilla. It's the same shit every time, unless there's like an injury update or something. I think Leach will probably be back for Liverpool, at least back in the squad. I don't know if he'll be starting. I would love it if he was fit enough to start. I don't know if he is, but Rob, I guarantee you if Southgate got appointed, there'd be waistcoats. There'd be United waistcoats for sale. Someone's going to make one customized. They're going to cut up a jersey and they're going to turn it into a waistcoat. And that's just what it's going to be. Someone will make a whole suit. It'll be a Gareth Southgate, like 3-piece suit, man. I can't even handle that. So Bexy thinks Ineos will make the change. Sir Jim wants to win ASAP. Yes, remember we talked about when Sir Jim took over. He's at an age where your legacy is really what you're starting to think about. This is called a psychosocial dilemma here, or crisis. The legacy, what you leave behind, how you're going to be remembered. He doesn't have time for these 8-year rebuilds, or these 6-7-year like Arsenal doing. He's an old guy. He's going to want to see something now, because he's going to want to not feel like he's wasted his time or his money, if that makes sense. So he's going to want something quick. Now, a lot of that is on him. He's got to get these decisions right. He's got to make sure Barada, Wilcox get these decisions right. Whoever the next manager is, it's got to be perfect. It just has to be. I think that we have to get away from, personally, I think we have to get away from the Eredivisie, the Portuguese league kind of managers, because it seems like it's just too big of a step up for a lot of these guys personally. And not the Premier League necessarily. I think just what United are right now, the crisis, the rot, the Frankenstein squad from like LVG players to now, it's too big a job for managers who can't take it on personally. I mean, we saw Jose get kicked out because of player power. Louis van Gaal, nobody had patience for that brand of football. Moisey just started the job over his head. Ollie, I think, totally got it, but I just don't think he had enough strings to his bow as a manager personally. It has to be perfect, and it's hard because the available managers are just not great, but not all of them have to be free agents. If they're free agents, does that mean something or not? We're going to talk about that on Thursday. Rob says, seen something they've ditched the circus tent part of the new stadium. Yeah, we talked about that the other day. Because there's a dispute over the land costs from Freightliner, the company that owns the land. So Freightliner, United were under the impression that it was going to cost like £50 million. Freightliner are asking like 400 million. And so, yeah, the report is that United have now requested mock-ups and kind of concept art to be created. Basically, what would this look like without the tent? I showed it on the channel. You guys got to go back and watch that video the other day. You'll see the example of what it would look like with the tent removed. I really just told ChatGPT to take away the tent. But so it doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look really unique or anything. So I think what we'll see is, I don't know if we'll see the tent. I don't think we'll just see what the picture necessarily looks like without the tent. It'll be something kind of in between. But again, it's the land. So we'll see what happens. But if it costs that much to do the tent, I don't know who approved that. I really don't know, but it'll save a lot of money not doing the tent thing. I didn't like it personally. I thought it was stupid looking. I just didn't like it. Fitting for the circus that we are right now, but we'll see what it ends up looking like. It's several years away, so it is what it is. On Amorim though, if he were to be sacked, what does that say about Ineos? Like I said way back when Ten Hag and Ashworth were fired, that if Ineos keep hiring and firing more key personnel, people are going to start to question their judgment, their decision making, their qualifications even, and like lo and behold, they're finding themselves directly in the crosshairs now. It's going to look worse if they wait till November just because they don't want to pay as much to sack Amorim. That just makes them look more like the Glazers than like better owners. Just again, Ineos have to do maybe what Amorim is not willing, just admit the mistakes and fix them immediately to try to get the best out of the situation. The optics won't be great. Again, they'll look bad because it doesn't look like they can make a good decision. But is it better to like what's the alternative, right? Persist with something that's clearly not working. See what's right in front of you and get that next managerial appointment perfect. Even if you have to wait till the summer, get it perfect. If you want to spend the money to get a manager in now, fine. But if you have to wait till the summer, just do it right. Every decision from here on out has to be perfect. Managers, transfers, et cetera, has to be perfect. I don't get how it can be so easy to sack Ashworth, to sack Ten Hag, or just for disagreeing or for not performing for the first couple months of a season, but why it's so difficult for them to sack Amorim. I asked the question the other day, if Amorim wasn't a Ineos appointment, would he still be here? Right? If he was a Ed Woodward appointment, if he was a Richard Murtaugh Glazer appointment, would he still be here? A lot of you said no. So, sorry, Sean, I watched that video live. Yeah, it's all right. Don't worry about it, dude. Where's this poll at right now? 20 votes, 55% say Carrick, 10% say Fletcher, 5% say Ollie, 30% say someone else. So far, the someone else has just been Rude. So does that mean 30% of you want Rude? There's not many options out there, right, as far as interims go. Permanent stuff we can talk about on Thursday. I've got 8 of them, one of whom, hint, hint, is a free agent and Ineos have spoken to. So we're going to talk about that. We've shown that we will pay to bring a manager from his club to United midseason. We've done that with Amorim. What that tells me is that nothing is off the table. So we'll keep that in mind. And so Dylan's going to stop by because I know Dylan really wanted to be involved in that. I know a lot of other channels are kind of doing some similar stuff. We've been talking about it now for a couple weeks. I just want to go ahead and do it, get it out there. So I'm not trying to go on a sky is falling rant, but we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to close the poll. So thank you guys for getting involved in that. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your Tuesday Champions League 3 p.m. kickoffs have just gone on. Let me do another check-in with the youngsters and see how they're doing. They are still down 1-0. See, this is the problem with some of these little lower league cups, is that you got academies playing grown men. And it's like the mismatch there physically is just ridiculous. Galatasaray are beating Liverpool. Oh, shit. Victor Osimhen penalty. Oh, shit. Like that. Bayern Munich are up already. I'm going to go turn on some of these matches, you guys. So let me know how your FC26 career mode's going. I will let you know how mine is going as it continues to progress. So far, so good. I think I'm in 3rd right now. And I didn't make it immersive, so I started with a live star point. I am out of the League Cup, even though the live star point is right. I just went ahead and lost on purpose to make it more realistic. But we already well underway in our FA Cup run, beating Plymouth Argyle in the first round. So I have the Manchester Derby next, so that'll be a fun one. So just getting back into the swing of things with this game, trying to see what the new differences are and whatnot. So I will keep you posted as we go along. Lucky is really waving that Rude Van Nistelrooy flag. You guys, make sure you like in the video, please. Make sure you subscribe. Check those memberships on how you can get involved. Like, again, we're bringing back the questions from a boot. If you weren't able to catch the live, get your response into the question from a boot from today. What is one law of the game that you would change if you could? My pick was getting rid of the yellow card for celebrating a goal and taking off his shirt. That's a stupid rule. So that's my pick. It's a simple one. It's an easy one. It is what it is. I just don't get it. I think it's a stupid rule. But leave your comments. If you guys weren't able to catch the live, you guys know I check those comments as well. So take it easy, you guys. We will talk to you on the next one. Keep a lookout. Thursday, remember, 5 o'clock. Big Amorim replacement video. We're going through 8 options, and then we'll do the Brentford preview on Friday. So until then, you guys, take it easy. I will talk to you later. Peace.